Hi everybody, I'm here this evening with Claire Coutinho, the RMP for East Surrey, and she's joined me this evening just to have a little chat about what she gets up to when she's not working. Does she ever not work? So let's have a chat with her and just find out a little bit about what she does when she's, or what she's been doing through the lockdown. So thanks Claire for joining me. Thanks for spending this time to chat with us.
Thanks for having me.
How are you? So how are you today? Have you been working today? What's a typical day for you? What do you...
Ooh. So, I don't know if you find this as well, but I think because of lockdown, I find that all the days are pretty similar. We've been quite bad, actually, I have to say, at sort of having differences between our weekends and our weekdays, because there's not really anything that makes them distinct anymore. So they all run pretty much the same, which is I'm a very early riser. So I always think that my family are descended from farmers because we all wake up at sort of like 5:30, 6 in the morning. And then I do the news, I check my emails. We've got a lot of people writing to us at the moment, asking for advice and sort of information. So I try and do a lot of that in the morning. I'll then have lots of different meetings. There's a lot of Zoom meetings at the moment with different sort of people in government about issues. I do a lot of Zooms. And then try and keep an eye on the medium term, longer term things I want to do as well. But it's pretty much work. And then when we have sort of moments for breaks, we've been enjoying, actually in some ways it's nice to be at home and you make lunch with my other half, Julian. So we do a bit of cooking and he's trying to teach me chess, but so far not going very well. So that's pretty much the summary of things mine.
But I know
what about you?
Well, it's the same. I mean, it's with the kids as well. So I have 3 children. So they're 13, 10 and 4. And it's so many different, because the ages, they want different things, they need different things. But the youngest 2 are going to school. So it has been great because obviously I have been able to then work. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to do. So before, for the first lockdown, it was a situation where I was literally just working through the night. So I would be homeschooling all day and then I'd start working on the paper and stories and things from about 8 o'clock and I'd work till about 4 in the morning, and then it would go on like it was really full on. And so this way round it's sort of been a little bit, that respect it's been a little bit easier, but it's things like when they get home from school and you and it's like, because the clubs aren't on obviously, so certain clubs you can do through Zoom, so you've got a child in each bedroom and you're trying to get them to do Zoom with certain clubs and things, and that can be a little bit difficult. But I mean it's just one of those things. It's just I think we sort of get into a little bit of you just sort of get into a bit of a routine, don't you, and the days just merge into one. It just sort of gets to that point. But I mean, how for you, I mean, how has the pandemic sort of affected you personally, and have you found it, I mean, I know you've had quite a difficult time, haven't you, personally recently?
Well, yeah. So I think I was sort of telling you these locally. My family lost one last year. So at the end of last year, my father sadly passed away, and he did have COVID, but that wasn't the sort of the reason. And I think the thing that I've found difficult, and I'm sure it's the same for you as well when you're sort of thinking about your children and how much you get to see family, it's just very hard to go through these big moments not having all the people that you love around you. And I know that's something that we're all sort of feeling at the moment. You're going through these incredibly stressful or difficult or for lots of people life-changing situations, and you can't sort of really go and hug your mum or do the things that you normally want to do.
Exactly. That's what I find really difficult. And I think it was only sort of last week where I found it really difficult because it suddenly got to the point where the weather, just not being able to get out as much as I wanted. Like in the summer it was great because, or in the first lockdown it was great because in the sense that I was able to go for my runs. So I go running a lot, and being able to do that was my escapism. And it was the first thing, like you say, about being an early riser. I am too. I'm sort of pottering around the house at like 5:30, 5:45, and I love sort of getting everything ready before the children get up, doing things and sort of getting onto my emails and things and that sort of thing. But so for me that's great. But now I found it hard because I'll get up and I'll look outside and I'll think, I don't want to go out in that. I don't want to go out in the snow. I don't want to go out in the darkness and the cold. So I think that's a big thing as well that's been quite difficult, you know, and sort of been quite a difficult thing to be able to get used to, especially after today's announcement that it's possibly going to be even longer now. So, you know, it's that's what I can find. Can you, is the reception okay for you? Because you've sort of frozen a little bit. Can you?
Yeah.
You can hear me. Okay, good.
Oh no, I can hear you fine.
So, so hobby. Tell me a little bit about your hobbies. So you obviously said you cook. So are you the cook, or is your partner the cook? And what sort of things do you like? Is it cultural food or anything?
Well, so obviously, so we share our Goan heritage, and I do like to cook a little bit of Indian food, particularly at the moment because I can't see my family. So I've been cooking a lot of Goan fish curry actually, and I like to do all sorts. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, no. So I'm really glad your mum's been offering to cook me dinner when the pandemic is over. So I'm very excited about that as well. It's proper Goan food. So I do like to do sort of a bit of different things from around the world. I do quite a lot of Asian cooking, but anything really. To be honest, it's one of the most exciting things of your day, even if you're just making a sandwich at the moment, because it's the only thing that you do that isn't work. And so. We do a bit of cooking. I read quite a lot, so I'm a big reader, and I mean, it feels a bit sad, but I think that's about it at the moment because there's not many things that you can do. I used to run. I was running in the first lockdown as well, but like you, I sort of look outside at the snow at the moment and find that quite hard. And I think like lots of people having the gyms closed. For me, I think if you go to a gym, you're forced to do some exercise. So because otherwise it's too embarrassing and then you just have to leave, so you have to go and do it if you do this. So I find that really, really helpful. So I think having the gyms closed as well has also not been great for my my exercising. But what about you? What do you do when you're switching off?
Well, so do
you get any time to yourself?
I mean, I try to. I think it's so important as well. So in terms of, I've tried to get a little bit of a routine with the paper as well. So things like, they'll get us to a certain point in the month. We have the paper goes out. Last week of the month is mayhem, and then it's distribution. So we get the paper out to everywhere it needs to go, and then I literally try and have a full week without doing anything, and where I completely switch off. I won't look at my phone. That's the other thing, because I was getting quite bad actually headaches recently, and I thought it's probably because I'm just constantly scanning the phone, looking at the phone. I mean, you probably find as well. It's things buzzing through all the time, checking emails. And I mean, as a newspaper, I guess, that is important, but there are things that you can perhaps do during the day and then switch off of an evening. So I do try to, I don't cook, I must confess. I'm really bad at cooking. My husband's the cook, so he's really good at that, and which is great. So he'll do all of that. But I do try to. I like to sort of just watch I watch Netflix, watch TV.
Everything on Netflix.
Yeah, I do. I mean, Homeland used to be that was my complete go-to. I absolutely loved it. It reminded me of my BBC days of when I was at Panorama, just being able to travel and just being able to get out and about, and I really, really love that. But more recently we just watch lots of different films and things that come up and that have been recommended. So, and I think it's important to be able to switch off and to have that time to do different things. Do you have pets, Claire?
I'm a very thwarted dog lover. So my other half, we don't have the lifestyle at the moment to have a dog, but I'm working on it.
Yeah,
what do you have?
So no, I don't. We've got fish. We've got koi in the pond outside, but they're hibernating at the moment. But my mum's just got a puppy, and it's a very, very sweet, a little cavapoo. And so before lockdown, we were going over there, and it was great to be able to see him. Very, very sweet little thing. So I do miss that, that interaction as well, because I do love animals and being able to. But she every so often I'll go to my mum's because she is in our bubble, but at the same time, because my children have been going to school, we're not going in and out of the house. Got to be so careful with that. So we'll just sort of wave at the window or talk from her top window. So we tend to do that, which is, but we don't have pets at the moment. But I will. That's something the children have been asking continuously for the past year to get a dog. But it's like you say, it's lifestyle, isn't it? And it's really difficult to be able to to do that. You know, when it's, unless you've got the time to be able to sort of really look after them, especially nurture a puppy from, you know, a little one. It's like having a baby. So it's, not it's, but so so that's sort of me. I do read as well. I do like to read, but I like to write too. But when I read, I have this thing where I fall asleep. So I can't read in bed for more than about maybe 15-20 minutes without having to put it down, because I tend to get really tired and want to fall asleep. But something that I've stopped doing as well was getting on my phone in bed. So I'd get into bed and then I would surf through, say, Facebook, look at Instagram on a social level, you know, sort of looking at.
There's a word for this. It's called doom scrolling.
Oh,
I don't know if you've heard this. That's what it's called. It's called doom scrolling, when you sort of go through all your different sort of social media stuff and you can't stop reading about things.
Yeah, I literally do. That's what I do. I go through all and I just, what's happening, or what so and so got up to, and there's so I went to school in Oxted, and they've just started up this Facebook page about, did you go, you know, I went to Oxted Camp or whatever, you know, the school is, and so I've been looking through. And literally, there's so many people and photos and things from. It's so funny. My dad's just calling me. It's just like my dad. But don't worry, I'm not gonna. But yeah, it's so funny. My mum and my dad always ring like literally within 5 minutes from each other, and they don't live together. They just do. It's the same time every evening. Are you okay? You probably do the same. Yeah, with your parents.
They just know. I love that.
Where do your family live nearby? So you don't get to actually, you can't see. So it's probably lots of Zooming, isn't it? It's
so it's been a lot of Zooming, and in a way that's actually, I have to say, that's been really good for us, because I have quite a big family but spread out across the world, and getting everyone online for the first time ever. I mean, the first time I had to get my mum to do a Zoom, it took me 45 minutes to get her onto the Zoom. But now she's you know, all over it, so it's brilliant. And then you can have, you know, 20 of us Coutinos all talking to each other, which is brilliant, from India to America to, you know, the UK. It's just wonderful.
So I wanted to.
I don't know if you've had. Well.
Yeah, no. We've been doing these. We've got a lot of family in Canada, on my mum's side, and we've been doing these quizzes sort of it did start off being every Saturday. And that was the beginning at the first lockdown. I think we all got a bit sick of each other. It got to the point where it was like, is it Saturday already? So, but we were doing these quizzes, and each of us would take a turn in setting up the quiz, and so that was really nice to do, to be able to do certain things like that. But I've been doing something recently, in fact, in the last couple of weeks, where I've been doing a lot of voice notes to people, and I only discovered it on my phone recently. I mean, I'm so bad with tech stuff and things, but so we're doing voice notes to people, and also just little video messages and sending them to people, because I think it's so lovely when you see someone's face, you know, and especially when it's family, say in Kenya or in Australia or where my uncle lives or wherever it might be, and for them to just suddenly, you know, they can, you know, it's just lovely to see someone rather than sort of listen to them on the phone or hear their voice, if anything. So that's something that I've been doing a lot more of recently. Can you hear me? Because it's actually gone a little bit. Have I lost you? I just see. I think I might be getting you back.
I think I'm back.
Back.
Yes, yeah, so I can hear you. So this is such a classic example of why the pandemic is difficult. But yes, no, I absolutely. What were we just talking about? Just lost my train of thought.
What were you saying about video calling and like voice notes and things, and keeping in touch that way?
Well, I mean, this is, I think, I mean, so I'm really not worried, but I slightly worry about sort of opening up in terms of how much we may have lost in terms of our connections with each other. Because even now I find when I go out in this street and, you know, make eye contact with someone, it feels almost like very strange. We've got so used to not really seeing people.
Yeah. It's true. And also I'm a very I like to touch, so with friends I'm really huggy, you know, touch people, oh hello, you know, and sort of it's just my culture. You know what it's like, it's that sort of background, and perhaps give a kiss, or, you know, that sort of thing. And I miss that, because even not being able to do that, you know, and being really cautious and being able to have to stop yourself from you know, being that way. So there are certain things, yeah, definitely, that, you know, that I find really hard. And I know that moving forward, I hope that, you know, that comes back. And eventually, this has definitely been a very, very surreal time. It's been so hard. But just tell me, I want to know, what I'd like to know is, when you get days off, or when you're at home, do you get days off? But I mean, so when you're working from home, do you always have to monitor, log in, check?
I don't think there's been a day that I haven't worked. So on Christmas Day, I didn't do much, to be fair. I just checked my sort of, you know, emails and the voice box to see if anyone had contacted me, and it was fine. So a couple of people contacted me about parking, and a few people to wish me happy Christmas. A couple of people were about parking, but I think the thing with the MP role as well is that you feel naughty when you switch off, because you always want to sort of be making sure that you're replying to people and seeing what else people need, and it sort of, I think it can be quite hard for you to decide to take time away from it, especially in this structure at the moment, where it doesn't feel like you come to the end of the week and you're like, well, it's a Saturday morning, I'll, you know, take a break.
Yeah.
So I need to get a bit better.
No, but that must be quite. And do you still go, say, House of Commons, you know, on a regular basis? Do you still get on a train and go into London? How does that work?
So I have a car, and I do a bit if I have to. On the whole, I mean, you can do everything online now, so you can speak in debates. You can pretty much, you know, do everything that you would normally do as an MP. It's not as good, to be honest. I'm excited for Parliament to open up, because I think it's much better when we're all there talking to each other. But you can do quite a lot at the moment. So I am trying to be as not moving around as much as possible, and I go in for things that I absolutely have to, where I kind of think it's really important. Yeah, I need to go and be in there. But
yeah, so that's good that you can do most things anyway. You can, because I found it, you know, being at home, actually there is a lot that you can do. My office is just in Caterham in the Soper Hall, and but I've not even been going there, because actually I can do a lot of it from home, although sometimes I think, well, I want to get out of the house, and so, you know, then it's a nice escapism to, you know, to get somewhere like that. So just tell me about I'd like to know a little bit about holidays, and where was your last holiday?
Oh gosh, where was our last holiday? Oh, we went to, I think this was it. Yeah, that would be it. We went to France for a week last summer.
Oh, did you? Lovely.
Yeah, that was very nice. We went to, we booked it very last minute, and we had a week of somewhere where they did very nice wine near Bordeaux, where it was just the two of us, and it was, you know, nothing particularly fancy, but just a bit of it definitely felt like a break. So that was good. And then before that I was doing the government advisor role before I did this job, so that I think was also, I think I had about 12 days off during some of that period, like, because it was all very back to back. But I think everyone's looking forward to having a bit of a holiday as soon as we can again.
Yeah, I've been looking. I do literally just look to see where, you know, what can we do? Just getting away somewhere would be so lovely. We were planning to go to Mexico back in Easter last year, and that was all planned. And then we had to sort of do, like many others, you know, had to sort of you know, obviously cancel and then wait for it all to be refunded and everything. So yeah, that was. But we watched a film the other day, and I said to my husband, will I ever get on a plane again? Do you think I'll get on a plane again? But you know, we will eventually. It will just be.
I hope so.
I know.
No, I hope so, for Gatwick's sake as well. I talk to them regularly, and you know, they've got 10% of the normal passenger volumes at the moment. So I really hope we're all back on planes very soon. I look personally forward to doing my duty to our local airport on that.
Yeah, it's very true, isn't it? And also, just the other thing I said to him was, and just to stay in a hotel. I just said, yeah, just to be able to go somewhere and stay in a hotel. But it's all little things like that I guess, you know, we miss. But you know, eventually it will come back. It will be, you know. But yeah, it will be, you know, that it will happen. So obviously moving to Surrey. Just one of the things I wanted to say to you is, you must find countryside, the fact that you can get out, fresh air, go for walks. You've got the Surrey Hills so near. That must be really lovely, and being able to sort of get out and do all of that. I know it's hard of a morning, like I was saying, 6 in the morning is sometimes going out for a run and things, but being able to do that, I guess, is really lovely. Something I've had to do before.
I think I've spoken about this before, because I grew up in sort of South London, and our base in Bletchley is just surrounded by fields, and I know both of us just feel so lucky to have that. And in the first lockdown, we had sort of lots of rabbit warrens near us, so we'd have sort of these very cute like baby bunnies popping up all over the place, and near a heron that was near as well. When we went on our walks, we always walked past this one place where there was a heron, and it's just amazing. I think we're so lucky, and having the Surrey Hills, you can just get in the car and, well, I mean, not at the moment, but in non-lockdown times, you can just get in the car and be at Box Hill. Like, it's phenomenal.
It is.
It's just brilliant.
Yeah, something that I really, that's something that I do love, the fact I've always lived in Surrey and absolutely loved it. I mean, we did move temporarily before we got married to up in West London, but I love it. Yeah, just I grew up in Surrey anyway, so so for me,
all your kids, are they quite outdoorsy? Do they like it as well?
They always want to, and when the other day, when literally my little one, the 4-year-old, was so excited when the snow, when it settled, and he was just absolutely so excited to look out the window, mummy, and my husband hasn't had much work, but he had a day's work where he was away, and so he hadn't got home yet, and he was working up in Manchester, and I won't go in the snow because I find it so like, oh, it's lovely, pretty to look at, but it's I'm really get nervous about, I don't know, falling over and that sort of thing. So we waited till he got home, and then they absolutely loved it. There was still the snowman's still outside, so it's lovely because he's still there with his hat on, and we put a carrot and we put a mask on him. We put a mask.
Oh, that's so topical. Very on theme. I like that.
I know, it wasn't my idea. and stones in the eyes and it was really sweet though. But they do that. Yeah, they love going out for walks and things. And my middle one loves bike rides, and that's something that we have the Kenley Aerodrome not too far from us, and that's something that I used to go running, and then he would sort of lap me with his bike. So and he'd go around. So that's something that I really, that we, it's really miss. But then, it will happen again. It's been a difficult. I think this third one for so many people has been, difficult, and that's one of the reasons I know I sort of mentioned to you. And I hope you'll get the chance to tune in on Saturday, Claire.
I'm very excited. I had so many people contact me about the first one, so really? It was such an enormous success. Yes, I mean, Caterham Fest is huge, so I'm really looking forward to it. I think, to be honest, you've done such an amazing job of pulling all these interesting things together, and I think you can just sort of sense from our conversation when we've been talking about the things that we get up to, people just don't really have an opportunity to escape at the moment. So I think that's why it is so tough. So I'm just so impressed that you've pulled it all together.
Thank you. I mean, it is literally there's our team, and we have these brainstorming sessions, and usually one of them will come up with an idea and I'll go, yeah, let's do that. So it's literally like we're full steam ahead. We've got 2 weeks to go, and when we first had this meeting about this particular fest, and we've had some incredible people on board in terms of talent in the community. The idea is to, to obviously boost morale, being able to showcase talent, and the theme as well, the fact that it's focusing on mental health awareness, well-being. So we've got people throughout from Oxted through to sort of Old Coulsdon, and obviously Caterham, sort of all around the area that are going to be doing talks, and so we're really excited about that. So it's lovely to be able to engage people as well with something to do. So I hope so you'll be watching that.
It's so good to give people a bit of excitement, something different, a bit of relief, and for people to also perform and sort of share some of their things with other people as well. So no, I'm really, really excited. I think it's such a brilliant idea. Couldn't be more supportive.
No, good, thank you. And just quickly before we, because I've kept up you lots of your time, do you play an instrument? Do you sing? Is there anything you'd like to do for our next best, Claire? Perhaps.
So I, as you can imagine, my family were quite stereotypical. I play very bad piano and even worse violin. So nothing that I can really share with your viewers, I'm afraid. Not if you want to keep them listening.
Yeah, so because that's, it's so lovely. We've had such an array of talent. Maybe baking or something, but anyway, we can talk about that. So.
Yes, we'll come up with something for your next one.
Yes, for the next one. Hopefully, we did say actually we hope that it won't be a lockdown. It might be a lockdown one. We'll see how things are, but maybe eventually we could do one, outdoors. So that would be something that would be really good, really good to do. But so I just want to say to you as well, I've got some gin. Now, this gin happens to be, it's my favourite. It's from Perrylee Craft Gin, and Perrylee Craft Gin are a business based in Old Coulsdon, so they're just not very far from Caterham, and they have the distillery in their house, and they produce 6 flavours of gin. So because I'm a gin fan anyway, it's been great because they're just not far at all, which is brilliant. But also it's really lovely. So I'm excited about it because I've been doing dry January, so it's really exciting to be able to. So I that's one thing. It's that or white wine. But I noticed it. Do you like? What's your favourite, Akil? Do you like?
Well, you said that. I should bring my favourite drink, and to be honest, we neither of us are very big drinkers, but I am partial to, when it's cold, a glass of red wine.
Oh yeah,
preferably surrounded by cheese if I can find.
Yes, exactly. No, but lovely, no, brilliant. So thank you. I really appreciate you having a chat with me, just being able to talk, and just it's also really lovely to do that away from the whole. It's also good to get to know you, not in the whole. Oh, there is a favour that I have to ask.
Okay.
One day when we can, I would love to be able to visit the House of Commons. I know there are tours, but I would love to and take the paper.
Honestly, I'm so for this. I know I was only really in there for like 2 months before. I want everyone to come. It's such a remarkable building, and it's not just for MPs. You bring the paper, bring everyone. It's not MPs, it's everyone's House of Commons, and it's the first time I went in, I was just astonished by it as well. It's wonderful. So yes, please come.
Yeah, no, I would love to. That's something that I've always wanted. I think they do. Well, they may used to have done tours for schools and things. And so possibly the children may eventually get to do that. But I said, no, Mummy's going to go. I'm going to ask and see.
So,
no. I would
if I could say one MP-ish thing, which is that if anyone wants to come or any school wants to come, they can just write to me. And as soon as things are open, I'd be so happy to set that up. It was I think my favourite thing that I did before the pandemic hit was doing the school tours.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's so lovely. So yeah, so I'm very, very open door policy, and I hope I can see you there with the paper.
I would love to.
Yeah,
absolutely. No, we will. I know that's something that I will ask you about, eventually, maybe towards the end of this year, when we can.